Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings and the Brian Benstock. We are at Northwood University. Ted, we have some amazing questions for Brian today.
What a great honor to have Brian with us at Northwood University. Brian, welcome and congratulations on all the success that you're having.
Oh, thanks for having me here. It's fantastic to go back to school. I miss it. But it's really exciting. The students here are fantastic. It's really a great environment for them.
It's a great resource, and if I'm not mistaken, I saw you perhaps maybe trying to hire a couple along the way yesterday.
You better believe it. I'm a shark in a goldfish tank here. There's such raw material. The kids are energetic. They're enthusiastic. They're smart. I was never that smart when I was that age, and they're really setting a great career path for themselves by being here at the university.
Brian, you had some incredible content and talking points yesterday. You were on a panel first thing in the morning. We were discussing a lot of things in automotive. Could you share a little bit with our audience today? What are your thoughts about the future in 2025?
Well, I think the future of automotive is exciting, more so now than ever before. When you've got automotive dealers now becoming real businessmen like never before, and process-driven businessmen, and then having the Googles of the world and the Amazons having an impact on our industry, I think is a really good thing. I think we're learning how to take care of customers better, moving at the speed of the customers, no longer dictating how they have to do business, but putting things on customers' terms. And I heard a lot of that yesterday. I heard a lot of Mr. Flo was fantastic. He talked about mobility being freedom, and it is in fact, we don't sell cars, we sell freedom, we sell lifestyle. And I think when you look at it like that, you see the possibilities for us to really take this industry to another level.
I also like the analogy that I heard about the hospitality industry and how closely we are related to that. I don't know if you'd like to speak to that.
Well, the differentiator, we sell Hondas, and I'm proud to sell Hondas, but the Honda that I sell is roughly the same as the Honda that everybody else sells. So what makes us winners or losers in this game is really the things we can control, which is the hospitality, making the customers feel great in the dealership. And I want Paragon to be like a temple to the brand. You go in there and it's beautiful and it's experiential, and you can interact with the products and you get touch and feel and experience the products. And I think that's a differentiator going forward. We have hot, fresh baked cookies in the dealership. You walk in, you can smell the cookies. We've got the most beautiful fragrances everywhere there. And really making customers feel welcome. And I think him speaking yesterday to being in the hospitality business really put that frame around what we've been trying to do. He said it better than I did, but it puts a frame around that. How do you create fantastic, memorable, consistent customer experiences in your dealerships?
Sarah, I think we're going to have to do a pop-up event at Paragon and get a sample of some of those things like the cookies as well.
They're pretty good.
And Brian, you've always been an innovator. You've always been the person that's on the cutting edge of what's next in automotive. What advice would you give dealers thinking about their fixed operations departments this year?
Well, making it easier for customers to do business. I'm blown away by the statistic. The service business is an $800 billion industry in the United States of America, and retail automotive dealers are losing 80% of that business to the independents. And we can make excuses. It's because they're less expensive. That's not the case. It's proximity. Right? They're there. We're closer to the customers. We have, in our marketplace, the 5 boroughs of New York, 17,000 independent service providers. 17,000. So is by competition those 17,000, or is it the 6 Honda dealers? We used to compete with the 6 Honda dealers. Now we're looking at how do we take a piece of that 80% that we're losing. And the fact is, we're not in the game. If you type in Google, oil change near me, not one dealer shows up. If you type tires near me, not one dealer shows up. So we're losing this battle by default. So I think it's really important and incumbent upon us to take that space back.
There's a big move afoot, and you saw it early in our industry, for remote services, to not have the customer have to wait inside the dealership while their vehicle is being serviced. I believe that you are one of the early adopters, with service pickup and delivery. Now we hear all types of industries trying to take a page from the automotive book. Speak to us a little bit about those.
Well, we saw an opportunity to serve customers by bringing service to them. And I asked myself, how could we, there was an open dealership in Manhattan, and I said, where would Starbucks put a Honda dealership, if they had to put one, how would they go about doing that? And you say, Starbucks, there seems to be one on every corner. And I asked myself, how could we put our dealership on every corner? And the answer was, it came to me, it's this. This is the key. Everybody has one of these. And if we could put the dealership right here on this customer's cell phone and make accessing the dealership, all of our services available by just tapping on the phone, well, I think we go a long way towards making that happen. And so we developed a pickup and delivery system that you can go on your phone, pick up, make an appointment, have your car picked up while you're working, serviced during the day, and put back at your office before you leave. I've never had a car serviced at a car dealership. I'm 63 years old. I'm in the business 42. I wish I was, I can't remember being 40. But I have never gone to a dealership to have service. It's a complete waste of time. And I add no value to being there when the car is being serviced, right? Other than paying. And we realized that why not make that available? What I do is have my car, someone picks it up, they service it, and put it back in my driveway. Why not make that available to our customers en masse? And it's really worked out well for us.
And I remember you said there was a return on learning, because on your way to coming there, you thought initially about perhaps having some centers or holding centers around Manhattan where people could come and drop off their cars.
I didn't want to mention that because it really sounds stupid in retrospect, but we were trying to solve for X. How do we service the island of Manhattan? And that's exactly right, Ted. We thought, well, maybe we'll have 4 garages. We make a contract with the 4 garages, and the customers could drop their cars off there, and then we have a truck go pick up the cars from the 4 garages, bring them to Paragon. What a nightmare! But you've got to have those free-flowing thoughts, because that bad idea led to a better idea. What if we had pickup and delivery? How can we make that available? We created a texting app. We created an app to send pictures to the customers, and a payment app. And then we sewed those together like Frankenstein, and we came up with something that really ended up being a game changer for us. And as you know, since 2017, Paragon's picked up over 200,000 cars for service, serviced them, and put them back in the customer's driveway or garage. And it's been quite a game changer for our fixed ops department. And you were there at the beginning.
Well, e-commerce continues to be top of mind. You mentioned Amazon, and you mentioned having the ability to purchase right from your cell phone. How are you seeing these applications unfold on the sales side? Are you seeing things in part sales and in selling inventory?
Yeah. So, it's a great question, right? I went to order headphones from Apple. I'm a runner, and I went to get the headphones. I knew the next day I was running. And when I went to order them, they gave me an option to have the headphones delivered that same day. And so I said, son of a gun. The next day, 24 hours is no longer the standard. It's same day delivery. And I said, how do they do that, right? And they were using the Uber Eats platform to deliver their products. I said, what a great idea. So we started doing that with parts, to be able to use Uber to deliver parts to a customer. So now, how many parts drivers do we have? As many as we need. And we have a great commercial of people standing in the middle of Manhattan and looking to get parts. And all of a sudden, parts start raining down from the sky, and brake calipers and rotors are dropping down from the sky. And then someone, ding dong, rings the doorbell, and here's your part. The ability to use other industries to look at ways that we can improve our industries is everywhere. And the customer experience is not based on how we do compared to other automobile dealers. The customer experience is how do we do compared to everything else the customer experiences in their life. And I think was a key paradigm shift for me, not comparing ourselves to the dealer across the street, down the block, across the country, but how are we doing compared to Amazon? How are we doing compared to Tesla? How are we doing compared to the services that Google provides? I mean, when's the last time you did a Google search and you didn't get the answer? You get the answer every time. And so how do we get that consistency in what we do? And I think when we started holding ourselves to that standard, we raised the bar for Paragon. And our Net Promoter Score for service is ahead of Amazon's. It's ahead of Apple's. It's ahead of Target's. And who ever thought that we'd be looking at those guys as our competitors?
Isn't this amazing that you're using all this innovation not just on the sales side, but we're talking today about parts, Brian. This is not the sexiest part of the car business, and service.
No, it is the sexiest part. Do you see the money that's there? The untapped resources? And we've got to stop looking at that department as an appendage, right? That's in the future. That's where all the action is. I used to be a hockey player. I knew this guy, Wayne Gretzky. He said, I don't skate to where the puck is, I skate to where the puck is going to be. And I think that's where the puck is going to be. I think that's where the industry is going to be. So I want to try and get as far out ahead of it as I can. And again, if there's $800 billion going to the third parties or the independents, isn't that the biggest opportunity? I don't need to take a service appointment away from a brother or a sister Honda dealer, but I want to take all of it away from the independents. And I know some of the independents are your clients, and no offense.
It's incredible, Ted, just all of the insight that Brian shares. I learn something every time that we get the opportunity to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, I think everybody here at Northwood has benefited greatly, Brian, from you being here this week.
And I think I've benefited greatly too. Going back to school makes me see the excitement and the possibilities of the future. You know, I was talking with Mike Stahl yesterday, and we were sitting in the audience listening to the incredible speakers. And wasn't it really interesting to see really successful businessmen and women? I'm talking about some are millionaires and billionaires taking notes. You know, so you're never too old to go back to school. And I was one of those, not millionaire, billionaire, but I was one of those taking notes yesterday to go back with something that I can share with our guys. And Northwood provided me with that opportunity yesterday.
Well, Brian Benstock, congratulations to you and all the success that you're having. Thank you for being with us here. Back to school at Northwood.
Back to school.
Everybody, we are at Northwood University with Brian Benstock, Sarah Vantine, and I at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We are going to be right back.